It's 2023. Yes, it is. And it's actually January 3rd. And everybody's starting off with those New Year's resolutions and getting their calendars together and making all those goals. And I simply wanted to remind you all of 10 tips that you can reinstitute into your life to make 2023 better for you. You see, goals are great, New Year's resolutions are great, but we don't always stick to them. And sometimes we actually forget about small little things that can actually improve our life. And I see that all the time. I experience it all the time. And so let's dive into those 10 things. Number 1, be seen and speak up, even when it scares you. I taught a class this morning and so many people talked about how they were scared to make a comment online, on LinkedIn, to show up at an event, to talk to people that they didn't know really, really well. And I'm here to tell you that you have to be seen. You see, the whole point of connecting with people is being seen, because once they see you, they know who you are. And I love to say those 3 things: know, like, and trust. Once people know you, hopefully they'll start to like you. And once they like you, they'll start to trust you. And that's the point in relationships, whether they're personal, whether they're professional, where the magic happens. And it can be really great to connect with people. Now, I'm going to say you're not going to connect with everybody. Some people you just don't like. Some people you do. But you can't get ahead in life if people can't see you. And that's figuratively as well as in person. Number 2, know what you don't know and where to grow. Everybody can learn something new. You've heard that saying about you don't know what you don't know. But know what you don't know and know what can help you grow. Even as a photographer, I'm always looking at how can I make my photography a little bit different. If I'm talking about branding and social media and empowering people to tell their story and to coach them, I'm always looking at ways, ideas, things that maybe a concept or a perception I didn't even consider. So that's another way to grow. Number 3, focus on what you can give, not what you can get. Again, this morning in this class I had, so many people were talking about networking and how difficult it was for them and how much anxiety it gave them, because they said, I don't know how to make my pitch to get a job. And I said, you're missing the point of networking. I don't even like to call it networking. I threw away networking. I like to say is meeting people, talking to people, connecting with people. I find people fascinating. Doesn't always work out great for me, but I do. I find people fascinating. And when you want to genuinely learn about somebody, that's much more authentic than trying to figure out what you can get from them. It's not what you can get. And see, the thing is, a lot of times, what I get out of the relationship, the connection, is not something that I can put a price on. A lot of times it's friendship. But showing up and showing how you can give first is the best thing in the world. Number 4, do things you don't feel like doing. I'll be the first one to tell you, I procrastinate just like everyone else. There are things I don't like doing. I don't feel like doing. But once you do them, you've accomplished something. And I think that's really important. It's that way of keeping that self-motivation going. I don't feel like washing the dishes. I still got to get it done, because it's not going to get done. And if you don't do it, you start regretting it, or you start dwelling on it, or you start seeing the dirty dishes, and then it becomes nasty, and then you become embarrassed, and it's a whole cycle of things. But there are things we don't feel like doing. Figure out how you can make them fun. Give yourself a reward or something. Number 5, talk less and listen more. I like to say it as asking people more questions and then listening to what they have to say. Truly listening to people. Don't be one of those people that are constantly trying to think about what your answer is going to be or how to interrupt them so you can get your point of view in or your opinion in. Listen to people. And that's in person or in writing. Listen to people. This is a good one. This is number 6. Find your passion. Find your passion. Find what makes you happy. What makes you excited about life. Whether, hopefully it's a passion that's in your job or maybe it's something that you do on the side. Dream, and dream big is a part of that. Because if we don't have something that makes us feel wonderful inside, that makes us feel alive, then we're just going through life on a daily basis with this regret in our thoughts and just feeling so bogged down. December was a really hard month for me. And I was reminded that I have an opportunity to give more to people. Give of myself to people. Help people discover who they are. I also realized that I'm living too small, and I've talked about that in another post. I need to live big again. I need to remember that we only have one life to live, and we need to make the most of it. Even if it's scary, doing things that we don't think we have the time to do or we don't think we have the possibility of doing, you'd be surprised when you put yourself out there a little bit. Each day, we can't get back. And I did something this weekend at the last moment. Didn't really have the resources to do it, but I figured out a way to do it. And I went to New Orleans for New Year's Eve. I went to watch a basketball game, but I went for New Year's Eve and came back yesterday. And it was fabulous. We had such a great time. I met people I didn't even know really well, met people I hadn't met before, and we just had a great time. I could have stayed here and been down, been sad, thought about what could have been, what I didn't have, but I chose, in all honesty, to say hell with it. I used to be one of those people that did whatever I wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it. And somehow, in the past 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, 15 years, in a relationship that didn't allow me to do that, and COVID hit, and I started living small, with little spurts here and there. But 2023, I'm going to be sure that I don't do that. I don't know what's going to happen, but you know what? I'm going to believe that good things are coming. And because if you don't believe that, then you're putting out the negative into the world. Number 7, this is a huge one. If you live in Memphis, understand why with sports. Stop whining, stop complaining, and stop criticizing. If you live in Memphis, you know all about the sports fans. Tiger Nation can be vicious. But I look at it as I am lucky. I am grateful to be able to watch these athletes, to be able to go to live events, to be able to enjoy something with other people. And so the other thing is, I was talking with a lady this weekend about people being so negative, they just complain and criticize all the time. And we were talking about how they must be really, really unhappy, sad people. They exert all this energy to complain about something, one, they have no control over, two, they don't really even know much about, and three, they just make themselves look ugly. I'm not going to say I don't complain, but I try really hard to not complain, or at least not complain in public. I try really hard because I know what it feels like to listen to somebody who's just negative, complains and criticizes. It's depressing. It makes me feel dirty. And that person is exerting so much energy that they could be putting into something else, like their life, like their future, like their passion, all of those things. Number 8, be present. So many times I see so many people just on their phone reading it, not paying attention to anyone around them, not talking to anyone, just scrolling. And you know what was nice about Saturday night? We sat around at a bar and we all just talked to each other. We watched some of the Ohio State-Georgia game. But it's nice to talk to people. Put the phones down. Be present in what you're doing, in who you're talking to. Smile when people are talking to you. That's what's important, is who's in front of you. Number 9, lead with empathy and compassion, even if somebody's being an ass. Sorry for the language today. But lead with compassion and empathy. We don't know what other people are going through. They don't know what we're going through. But it's much easier to be nice and compassionate than to not be. Number 10, this is one I'm going to throw in. You can be generous and you can be kind. They're not the same things. People who are generous give to other people, but you can be generous and not kind. Kind people are nice to people. They don't even need to give something. So I'm really going to try hard in 2023 to be more conscious of being generous and being kind. I'll give you an example, and I've heard stories, so I wasn't around, so it could be wrong. There was a person in Memphis who was very generous with his money. Very generous with his money. But so many people talked about how mean he was to staff at the hotel, to people he came in contact with. So be more conscious of being generous and kind, even to somebody that you think has no value. Everybody has value. And it doesn't take a lot to say hello to somebody, to say hi, ask them how they're doing. That's being kind. You can still give money, you can still give your time, you can still do those things. But being kind to someone, respecting them, that goes a long way. And it doesn't take any money to do that. So, those are my 10 tips for making your 2023 the best ever. And it'll make you a better person, and it will make your relationships with people a lot better. And if they are bringing you anxiety, if they're not respecting you, if they're bringing you down, then look at how maybe you need to clean your closet. I've done that occasionally. It's all about having people around you that lift you up and in turn lift themselves up. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, guys.